Hello, you beautiful humans, and welcome to the Mental Wellness Wake Up Show, the place to be to learn tips and tools from both spirituality and psychology that create lasting well-being. I am your host, mental wellness expert, and theater creator, Dawn McMillan. Let's get to it. So what I want to talk about today are seemingly inconsequential choices. Seemingly inconsequential choices, that phrase comes from recovery literature and the ways in which something that we do can lead to an outcome, which, if we'd thought about it at the time, was pretty predictable, but we let ourselves off the hook at the time because it's a seemingly inconsequential choice. That is what we are going to talk about today. But before we do, thank you for being here. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. I really do never take it for granted that you come and spend any part of your life with me. So thank you. And I do want to let you know that if you are curious about spending more of your life with me, as in getting mental health coaching or consulting, you can check out my not very well designed website, thedawnmcmillan.com, and you can at least get a contact sheet, and we can talk some more. I will invest in the website, I promise. Just, my seemingly inconsequential choice is to not do that just yet. So what are we talking about with seemingly inconsequential choices? You can think of this in the realm of the butterfly effect, in the realm of slippery slopes. It really is about how a single small decision can shape your life in a significant way down the line, right? The butterfly effect is the idea that a butterfly flaps its wings in Japan and creates a tornado in Ohio. It's the idea that this cause and effect chain can be traced back often to something that you're like, wait, that's what set off this string of events? Yeah, and I kind of want to give the fine print because, as you probably know, if this is not your first time here, and if the episodes that I published have this information in it, been having a little bit of technical difficulty swapping out the old system for the new system, so a couple of episodes have had to be unpublished. But I've been focusing a lot on teleology versus etiology, meaning versus causes. There is some benefit in figuring out, oh, this happened because this happened, because this happened, because this happened. There is some benefit in figuring that out sometimes. Sometimes. There is often more benefit in figuring out where you are and how you'd like to get to where you're going. The reason why this idea of seemingly inconsequential choices comes up in recovery literature so much is because often we are tasked with dissecting how the relapse happened. And that's when you go back to you're chasing it. Because if you're, let's just, for example, let's say you're sober from alcohol and you end up going on a weekend bender. That choice to have that drink didn't necessarily start with that choice to have that drink. Maybe that slip actually happened with the seemingly inconsequential choice to accept your friend's invitation to go to Vegas. See what I'm saying? So sometimes it can be helpful to trace back the chain of events and go, oh, when I did this small thing, it actually was me setting myself on a path that led to this thing. So I don't want to throw out etiology entirely. Sometimes knowing what caused a thing is helpful. So that's why we're going to talk about it today. We want to lean into where are we going more often than over focusing on dissecting where we've been. And I just say that because we've gotten to a place in our culture where we have chosen to believe that working on ourselves means being obsessed with our autobiography. And there's a limit to how much juice you can get out of that. But that limit is not zero. So let's talk about maybe another example of a seemingly inconsequential choice. So I gave the example of if you're sober from alcohol and you accept an invitation to go to Vegas, that might be the seemingly inconsequential choice that leads to your breaking your sobriety. That one's kind of obvious. I'd like to use something a little less obvious. And I want to share something that a client actually gave me the example of, who is struggling with some health issues currently. And as this person was thinking back to how did it get to be where it is, it started with a seemingly inconsequential choice of choosing to lie down and scroll the phone after work rather than sit up and do other things. Does not seem like a big deal. Raise your hand if you've ever done that. Oh my gosh, I've had such a really hard day. I just want to lay here and scroll through my phone and look at funny animals. It doesn't seem like a big deal. But that choice one time led to another time, led to another time, led to another time, led to another time, which began to weaken this client's physical strength just enough to when that client then got mono and was laid out for a while, they didn't have as much strength in the body to fight the infection, and it's taking so much longer to recover than it might have if the body had not been weakened by the seemingly inconsequential choice that first night to, I'm just going to lie here. I'm just going to lie down. And so the invitation really is to give credit to baby steps and baby choices. Do you remember that movie from, it's probably the 80s? It's old. What About Bob? And it's about this guy who goes and sees a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist, I can't remember. And the psychiatrist has this book about baby steps. Just take baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. That's real. Or as one of my coaches used to say, small hinges swing big doors. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. So the seemingly inconsequential choice to go to bed on time makes you more rested the next day, means you have better reflexes when you're driving on the freeway, means you avoid the accident, means you live to go to your job and catch the error in the finance sheet and save your company from bankruptcy. I don't know what you do. Maybe that was a bad example. But the point being that baby steps matter. So these seemingly inconsequential choices that we are making can accumulate down the line to be highly, highly consequential. So we're not wanting to over-obsess and over-focus on every little thing that we do. And, you know me, paradox of both and. We don't want to underestimate the power of doing little things for good or for ill. I eat the second cookie, seemingly inconsequential seemingly inconsequential. You know what I'm saying? Or that could go in a negative direction, positive direction. Someone pops on my mind. I decide to call them to see how they're doing, and they let me know that they were just, about to come to my town, and they didn't know whether I would be receptive to having them stay with me. And because I called them, they ask, they get to come stay with me, and then we have this really wonderful experience, and we create a memory that lasts for a lifetime. So baby steps count. Seemingly inconsequential choices count. And here's where some self-honesty comes into play. If we want to do something that we said that we're not going to do, we sometimes sneak our way onto that road with a seemingly inconsequential choice. Let's say I've decided that I'm not going to watch TV while I eat. The seemingly inconsequential choices. Well, I'm going to turn the TV on, but I'm not going to put on a show. I'm just going to put on music, right? I'm not breaking my word to myself, really. But it could be the case that once the TV's on, it just becomes that much easier to flip over to the, well, maybe just this once I'll watch the thing. So I guess what I would like us to do at this point is just think about, are there small choices we are making throughout the day that we're not giving ourselves credit for, that are creating a future life that we're going to enjoy so much more because we created them? And are we hanging out a little bit in sneaky delusion of, oh, I'm just gonna drive by my ex's house, but I'm not gonna slow down to look and see who's parked in his driveway just this one time, kind of path towards unhealthy choices. And I would love for you to continue to make healthy choices. You know why? Because in addition to being shockingly good looking, you're so attractive, you are also whole, perfect, and complete just the way you are. And you are so worthy, so deserving of a life so gorgeous that it transcends even your wildest dreams. Thank you for listening. Until next time.